All right. Hey, how's it going, everyone? Once again, this is Erik Hodson. I have Dreaded Dinosaur and my co-host Michael Oden, and we are joining you. You're joining us for It Came from Webtoon, the show that looks at all the various webtoons on Webtoon Canvas. There's thousands of them, and we go through, we pick out the ones that we like, we read through a little bit of them, and we give you our recommendations. And today we are bringing you a comic called Seasons, and we can't wait to talk about it. How you doing, Michael?
We're doing fantastic. We just sent in the print file for Elysian Fields Pyramid Gambit over to the printer, so that should be ready here in the next week. We have 7 days left on that Kickstarter, so be sure that you guys in the audience go on ahead and check that out if you haven't, because we're pretty close to getting funded on that as well. So help us get over that line. But more so, we're talking about Seasons, and Seasons is quite the book. Now I was on Pop XP with Billy Tucci talking to them, and Nandor was there with me as well. Nandor Fox Schaefer, the guy that wrote this book. And let me tell you that talking with Nandor is one of those things where it makes you be like, man, I could it. It's inspirational because Nandor is he's younger than me. Nandor's 24, and his first script for the first book of Season he did by the time he was 19.
Dang.
And, it's pretty damn incredible. It's a really, really well written book. And on top of that, his commitment to getting this done was so impressive that he got a pro tier artist to work with him on it. And the book is outstanding. It's in predominantly black and white, but hearing Nandor talk about it throughout the seasons, throughout the book Seasons, color is going to get implemented to showcase the shift in mental state of the character.
Very cool.
Guy has it freaking.
I can tell you're passionate about it because we haven't even rolled the intro yet, and you've already said so much.
Dude, I'm excited for this, and this is a part one because I am in touch with Nandor, and we are going to be getting him on the show. So make sure that you're paying attention to this, and we'll be having him on at some point. But anyways, let's roll that intro.
All right. All right, welcome to It Came from Webtoon, and we're going to give a shout out to Edwin. The Ace launches January 31st as Vindo. Hail, peeps. Hail, Edwin. How's it going, man? Thanks for popping in on us.
Yeah, man. Thanks for being here. Edwin's a good dude.
Yes, definitely. All right. So Seasons, and we do know the creator of this. At least you know the creator of this. I haven't met him. I know he was on the Indie Vault proper. And I do want to say hello to everyone listening through via Indie Vault Radio, whether you're listening on the Streama app or on the web app for Android, or you're listening in through Facebook, YouTube, wherever you're listening in. Thank you for joining us. This is It Came from Webtoon, and we are talking about Seasons. Seasons. This is a really cool manga, black and white manga. That I'll just read the synopsis here because it's a pretty interesting story. Seasons revolves around Fletcher, a misunderstood average young man who isn't happy with his life anymore and has run away from almost everything and everyone. The entirety of this series will span over 1 year of his life. With each passing season, he'll acquire a new set of supernatural abilities to overcome a combination of varying obstacles and enemies. The 1 year journey will determine, the 1 year journey that will define Fletcher awaits. Interesting premise. So you're getting a real-time story, so to speak, of 1 year of this character's life and him getting new powers. In full disclosure, I only just started reading this. So I'm still in the first chapter where apparently he becomes a pyrokinetic and people walk right through him. Good gracious.
It's a bit more complicated than that. Like I don't want to. Oh man. So like effectively, his powers are directly affected by his mental state, and like there are different people that have like similar stuff to him, and each one is, if I recall correctly, kind of indicative of a different season of the weather, and I believe he's summer. But like it's really interesting, and there's a lot to be said about. There's a lot to unpackage in this book. The art is stunning. It's actually, I think it's just supposed to be a black and white comic book. I don't even think it's it's supposed to be modeled as a manga. It's but like it's definitely got a little bit of that manga style, because that's generally what the artist deals in. But like it's it's definitely supposed to be kind of a middle ground, and it's got this, especially when you get into like the later chapters, it has this more ink wash feel to it. Really pretty stuff.
Yeah, no doubt. And they've done a good job of taking, and this is another example of a finished graphic novel that's being broke down for webtoon, correct?
Yeah, like I don't think that it was finished when it was being released, because he's been doing it for a while. But they just did the Kickstarter for Seasons Book 2, which combine and like it's a hardcover format that combines both Book 1 and Book 2. It looks stunning.
Yeah, no doubt. And I love the sketchy feel to
Yeah.
the art. This is the kind of the art that I usually always admire the most, because I'm one of those people who's anal retentive and render happy, and I like my lines completely clean, and my gradients to fade in and fade out. So this type of more of a loose, sketchy, and calling it a finished product is very hard for me to do. So I definitely admire the artists here on this.
Well, like it, and to kind of show the contrast of style, if you go and you pull up like the most recent chapter, I think you'll see like just how much the style has grown as this thing is progressed. Because oh man, like it's pretty impressive. So where I've been, part 4.
I really like the paneling that's going on here too.
Yeah, no, it's super
Very
dynamic.
dynamic.
Like at this point he's going into like this typhoon to reach out to one of those other characters I was telling you about, and she's stuck in the sky and is in like an ever-present storm of
Wow.
like it's freaking awesome. Like it
Nice. Fade into the fade into the intro there.
Yeah, but then if you go down even a little bit further, you get this beautiful profile shot of the main character it's pretty tremendous. And so there's the girl that's stuck in the storm.
Should have used that for the poster image. Very cool.
And then you get that, but then you scroll. I think, yeah,
That's beautiful. This is beautiful.
Yeah, look at that, just outstanding.
Yeah, that's pretty incredible.
like as I said, like this book, it levels up every chapter that you read it, I feel. And there are even some moments where he brings in color into the panel work, and it looks outstanding. And this is one of those books. I need to double check, but I don't think it has Yeah, like there's no reason. So this book only has 53 likes with 1.1 K reads. That's less. That he's had less people read this than I have of Elysian Fields. And
Yeah,
while I love my comic, this thing deserves to be like a fucking smash hit.
yeah,
It's
no doubt. Like this is prime material for like a webtoon exclusive situation. You know, it's unique enough. The fact that his powers are going to keep changing between the different seasons. I've never seen anybody. I've never read anything that has that kind of as the gimmick. But the fact that it changes with emotions and so there's a lot of meta, I guess, in the story, right?
Yeah, and you know,
I wouldn't person's manga, right?
Yeah, no, and I wouldn't be surprised if this character was kind of an avatar for Nandor in certain ways. Like it's always hard to tell when a writer is projecting themselves into a character, or when they're just really good. But like, there's a lot of anguish in this character that feels very personal and very authentic. And like, if you go and you look at Where I've Been Part 2, like, oh man, this thing is so freaking awesome. I cannot gush enough about this, and the way that he has, so like there's kind of like a split. He like, his big thing is that he's got himself, but then he's got the dark part of himself that harvests all of his negative emotion, and that's where like the explosiveness comes from and everything like that.
Right.
And so you get just this fantastic bit where he's kind of looking into the darkness's reflection, and it's so good. Yeah, no, just a tremendous comic. And you know, I think he did the campaign initially on Kickstarter, and then he went over to Indiegogo. It funded it. I think it's in demand. So if anyone's looking to just go on it, like if you really want to help support this guy, like you can obviously like read this on Webtoon, but you can get the hard copy book, and you know, I'm fairly certain that it's either already been printed or it is on its way to be printed at this point, because like, yeah, like,
yeah, this is an incredible. The light and shadow here that this artist, and I'm just going to zoom back because I'm terrible with names. Anthony Gonzalez Clark is the name of the artist that's doing this.
Yeah,
he's got some he's really good with this, with light and shadow. This going back to this panel here, just have it, you know, the shadows and the depths and the crevices of the face, focusing the light on the eyes. And then, you know, and this stuff here around the outside edge with the shirt here, where this is just a zip tone in Clip Studio, basically. And he's taking risks that I would definitely not do, because I'm just like, again, everything for me is got to have like a nice clean line and solid rendering and stuff. And so I just can't get over it. Like this is like a painting hanging on the wall in a gallery, something.
Yeah, and so we just got word from Varian. He's apparently having issues signing in to let us know, but we're at 42,011 on Indie Volt Radio. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, listening in. And if you want to see what we're talking about, because trust me, you want to see this art, you go on ahead and you follow Indie Volt on YouTube. Our videos up there, and follow us on the Twitter at Came From Webtoon. I think I have that posted. I have the link up posted there as well.
Okay, yeah. So he is still on demand on Indiegogo, volumes 1 and 2. You know, and this Indiegogo is 55 backers, 2,502 so far. He really, yeah, we need to get this guy some more exposure. So I'm glad we're doing this show, because while you can't read it for free, please, you know, if you enjoy this if you read this and enjoy it, pick up the physical copy of the book. You can do it through his on-demand store.
Yeah, and like if you go and you look at his Indiegogo, you can even see how he brings the color into the book when you scroll down far enough, and it's pretty tremendous. Like these guys, this team really deserves every bit of kudos that they get, and I'm blanking on which comic professional did, but like he got an actual one of like a big talent writer to read it, and he like absolutely outstanding feedback, and it's well deserved. You just look at this art.
This forest scene is freaking incredible.
Yeah, like
wow.
Yeah, and as I said, we are planning on having Nandor on the show at some point to talk. I'm just waiting. He's gonna let me know when he's free, but he's really excited to come talk to us. We're excited to have him. I mean, just this whole book just looks incredible, and the webtoon is fantastic, and I cannot advocate for seasons enough. It's a genuinely fantastic read.
Okay, here's the example I think you were talking about where he's starting to incorporate
color.
color. So I would imagine I'm just guessing here, but I'm guessing that the color is done purposely. So like maybe this is a moment where the character Fletcher feels more human, I guess you could say.
Yeah, no, like any use of color is intentionally there to drive an emotional punch in the story, and it's brilliant. Like I don't have any other word to describe it. It's a very well done book that it deserves to be out there. That's a like gorgeous cover.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
And there it is printed. As I said, the print file is already ready. So like we should
hardback book too. I'm going to stop sharing this and then reshare it because I don't think I clicked audio. No, I did not. So I want to play the
trailer. Yeah, no, it's a good trailer too.
Hi, I'm comics creator Nandor Fox Schaefer, and I'm excited to finally bring Seasons to Indiegogo. Seasons is a 4-volume, grounded superhero supernatural graphic novel series that follows Fletcher through 1 year of his life, and with each passing season, Fletcher gains new powers and abilities that aid him on his journey towards a meaningful existence.
very cool.
Yeah. So that, as I said, that book should be ready and hopefully be out there here soon. So I'm excited to get my copy. I backed the Indiegogo within like the first week he launched because I missed it on Kickstarter. I couldn't do it at the time.
Yeah, that's the hard thing about all these different crowdfunding things is you really got to pick and choose because if you backed every single one you liked, I mean, you go broke. I was
dude, I I think I've done 62 in the past year on Indiegogo alone, and then it was like 30 on Kickstarter. It's definitely one of those things where it's like, all right, I'm going to save this around, and luckily, especially on Indiegogo, you have the chance to kind of like save up for some through the in-demand feature and be like, okay, This one's in demand. So long as I get in before they take it off in demand, I'm good.
Correct.
But with Kickstarter, it's literally like you have to. It's like you must choose which one you want, and then you're just kind of like, oh, but I really want all of them. Okay, we're gonna have to call this a bit. It's not easy, but you know, like there's so much great talent out here. But like Nandor and what's the artist's name? Why am I blanking?
Yeah, Anthony Gonzalez.
Anthony Gonzalez. They've done a tremendous job, and if any book deserves a little bit of hard-earned cash thrown at it, it's theirs. It's a phenomenal piece.
And the great thing is that you can try it for free. I mean, this is I think it's a good strategy to put your book up on Webtoon to get some samples. You and I are both doing it with Elysian Fields and Dreaded Dinosaur Man, and it helps start the ball rolling on getting an audience for the most part, and gives people a safe. They have no skin in the game to try something out. So I think people would be more likely to give it a read if it was no risk involved, and hopefully that sinks some people in.
Yeah, no, I mean a worst case scenario is those people, they don't necessarily go to your crowdfunding, but I mean, hey, you never know who you're going to run into at a convention,
right?
You never know, and like at the end of the day, it's all about expanding your audience, and it was really interesting because when I started putting Elysian Fields up on there, we weren't getting a lot of traction. So I was just like, okay, well, I'll keep it going. And so I stopped really pushing it. And all of a sudden we had 50 people almost 50 people signed up, and over 1,200 people had read it. And I went, oh man, when did this happen?
Yeah, I know. One of the things that really hurt me was when I had to take time out to work on the Roddy Piper comic, because I ended up losing. I haven't gained back all the regular readers that I once had.
Yeah, and that's the other thing, is that even though I'm not necessarily going to be putting up stuff from Pyramid Gambit for a bit, I need to be like putting up stuff like every now and again, just to let them know, like, yeah, we're still around, we're still doing stuff.
Yep.
It's just we're taking a little bit of time to let people that purchased the Pyramid Gambit get a chance to read it, because I'm not just going to go put it up there.
And that's a good thing to do. You definitely, like, the one thing you don't want to do is you don't want to like have your book, put it out in stores before you give it to your backers. You want to take care of your backers first. So before you give it away, give it to the people who paid for it.
Yeah, 100%. And so like that's the whole thing, is that always takes precedent. I'm not even like, we have our next book, our next IP that we're going to be launching here in March, and I'm not. If I have to push that back a little bit, I am not starting that campaign until everybody's books have shipped.
Yeah, good. That's definitely where you want to be. I haven't been able to get back to Dinosaur Man because I've got a convention this weekend, and that's something. But I have been doing something. I built a nice little standee so that I can have it at my table and tell people about it. And this is one of the things that I did for that, was this. So this is like a handheld webtoon, I guess you could say, a little portable mini comic.
Awesome.
It's brochure sized, and I built the standee to hold all of them in there. And there's a little tiny mini story. It's done kind of in the way that like those old cereal ads where the Incredible Hulk would throw some fruit pies at the bank robber. So in this, there's like one of my new villains who's going to be having his own story eventually. He's basically, his origin, his first appearance is this little card. And so he's, killing some small little aliens, generally causing some trouble. And Telexis and Dinosaur Man use Webtoon to distract him, telling him about all these stories. So Dinosaur Man can sneak up behind him and hit him over the head with a rock.
Dude, I'm going to put this on air. I better get one of those.
Oh, absolutely. I'll even put one in the mail for you. I made up a whole bunch of these with the intention that I would do a new one every once in a while, and they would have an interconnected story too. Because I'm trying to
Awesome.
fill these little puzzle pieces together with these little.
That's so cool.
stories.
Oh my god. I'm
and it's
geeking
also
out.
a tutorial on how to use Webtoon, so it works out that way too.
Dude, Webtoon should be paying you for that.
I know. Well, see, my whole thing was I want to have an impressive appearance so that maybe I could actually get featured on Webtoon, because that would be a wonderful thing, and that's one of the reasons why the Webtoon content is not going to be published in another book somewhere. It's going to stay on Webtoon and be exclusive to Webtoon, so that you kind of have that one path of story kind of running through, and then the books that I put out, like the one that I'm getting ready to hopefully launch in March, will be its own story that shoots off of the Webtoon, but it's its own complete little thing. And so you just kind of get little pieces of the lore here, and it comes together pretty cool. My problem is that I get too distracted with projects. I haven't spent any time on the video game in a while, and I still need to get to finishing the 3D model for the action figure. So
hey dude, I hear you, man. Like, and if you do end up landing that Webtoon cash cow, you need to make sure you're like, hey, so I've got a buddy. He's on Webtoon too.
I know you're a writer, and I know you're a history buff, so I've got a couple of story ideas that I think would be right up your alley later on down the line.
You know where I'm at. You've got my info. But anyways,
So back to seasons. What would be like your final closing thoughts so we can wrap up on seasons for people who are just maybe they're still watching and they're not quite sure what they want to do?
So if I were to sum up seasons, it would be, it's a story about a guy that's just trying to honestly find his place. He feels lost, and he doesn't know, like he feels the coldness of the world, and this kind of acts as a trigger for what ends up being his powers and everything. And it's just a tremendous read. I feel like anybody that reads it can get something out of it. I don't think that this is a book that people could read be like, oh well, I don't like it. I think that anybody that reads seasons will get something out of it. I genuinely do. Between its art, its writing, and Fletcher's a very personable character. Like, he's somebody that I feel a lot of people can relate to. He's very human in that way.
Kind of an everyman type scenario.
Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. All right. Well, do check it out. Like, I'm hooked on it. I've only dipped my toe into it. That's why relying on Michael here, because he's read the whole thing, and I find it exciting. I think it's I can't wait to learn more about why he's getting these powers in the first place, because it's just something that just suddenly starts happening to him, and so you get on this kind of hero's journey quest. So yeah, good read. I'll probably be reading it on the plane, honestly. So
yeah, man,
looking forward to that. Shout out to Joe
Tolliver. Hey, what's up, man? Thanks for joining the show, and glad that you're liking the new book images that we're sharing around. Joe's a fantastic artist his own self. He did a pinup for Elysian Fields Pyramid Gambit. Absolutely just stellar. Him and Phil Leon, and he's got his comics cast channel. Make sure that you go follow that. They do outstanding content over there.
Very cool, very cool. And if you've got a webtoon out there that you really like, you're looking for, you want to share it with us, hit us up on Twitter, Twitter @CameFromWebtoon. Send a DM with a link to the webtoon that we can check out, and maybe we'll feature it on the show. Definitely want to give a shout out to all of our listeners on Indie Volt Radio again, somewhere in the high 40s, maybe 50,000 or so of you. We really appreciate you listening in. Please, if you can, try to join us either on YouTube or through Facebook, because we'd love to have some more comments and questions popping up. But we do thank you for tuning in and listening, and hope that you are checking out some of these webtoons. It's a beautiful way to read comics and it's free, and virtually everybody has a smartphone or a tablet device, so there's no reason to not enjoy some of this great content. And we are here to help you. There's 70-some thousand on Webtoon Canvas alone, and we're wading through as many of them as we can to give you guys some recommendations on what you should be reading. Thank you very much, Michael, for your input tonight on Seasons. Do check that out, and we will see you back here next Monday, 9 p.m. I will probably have some jet lag, but hopefully we'll have a really cool, entertaining comic picked out for you then. Anything else, Mike?
No, I think that pretty much wraps it up. Back Elysian Fields on Kickstarter. If you haven't already, we have 7 days left.
7 days left on the Kickstarter. You hear that, folks? So go check out Elysian Fields now and check out Seasons. Till next time, ta-ta.